I hope you guys are doing good today. I wanted to come on quickly. Let me drop now, sorry. I want to come on quickly to talk about if you are a target of parental alienation, what can you do? And so thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope that you find this one helpful. I will put in the description box the resources that I use to help me do this video. But this is a very timely subject. This is something that parents go through, and they feel like they're running such an uphill battle, and they start to feel defeated, they start to feel hopeless. And so I really wanted to touch on this subject to let you know that there are some things that you can do today. You can start right now to help you. And so let's get started. Okay. One of the main things that you can do is make sure that you are documenting what's going on. Especially if your child is acting out right after they come back from visiting your ex. Make sure that you're documenting those things. Make sure that you're documenting the things that they're saying, especially those things that they could not have known of, events, conversations, things like that. And I won't say that they are facts, but I'll say your child makes statements about events that they could not have known about, or they could not have known any type of details about. And it sounds like they're just, repeating the same thing that you've heard your ex say over and over again, that type of thing. Then always document those things. Document, even be specific about what your child repeats to a certain degree. And I think that's usually very helpful. Make sure that you put the dates and the times that your child is saying it, especially again if they're acting out right after they come back from seeing your ex. And sometimes not necessarily always your ex. It could be other family members on that side of the family who may be feeding your child these statements. I won't say that there's information, I won't say that they're facts, but these are statements that they are feeding to your child and that your child is repeating and using against you. And there are these people who are using your child as a weapon against you. And so make sure that you're documenting those types of instances when your child is acting out. Okay, sorry. The second thing, sorry, just let me flip the page here. Second thing to do is to hold yourself to the highest possible, standard of parenting. And what does that mean? Sorry, what does that mean? That simply means that if you make a commitment involving your child, do everything that you possibly can to make sure that you meet that commitment. If you said that you're going to pick up your child at a certain time, make sure that that you're able to follow through. If you make a commitment to, do something for your child, make sure that you follow through, because if you don't, they're going to blow that up. They're going to use that against you, and they're going to harp on that and use that to say, oh, see, you can't rely on your mom because you see what she did here. She didn't, she showed up an hour late, to your soccer practice, or she wasn't able to, take you over to so and so's birthday party. And so they will harp on that and use that. So make sure that you are not giving them any reason to harp on anything about you. So that's very, very important. Also, don't engage in lengthy debates with your child about their alienation, because you start to tell them they're not thinking for themselves, or you start to tell them that they're being manipulated. More likely you are to heighten the conflict between you and your child. And so you just want to make sure that you're not doing that. And one of the good suggestions that I believe here that they have in this article is it is much wiser to stay very positive and warm, and say something like this. I hear that you believe that your dad or your grandparent, whoever, your aunt, said so and such and such about me, and I'm very sorry that you believe that, but I do have my own perspective on that, and I'm willing to discuss that with you when you're ready to hear it. So that way you're just not leaving it hanging out there You let your child know that there is another side of that. There is another interpretation of that, and another perspective on that. You can say, you can also say, but in the meantime, let's enjoy our weekend together. Let's go to the movies. Let's enjoy grabbing a bite to eat. Whatever the activity, whatever it is, the time that you plan with your child, then refocus the attention on, okay, let's spend quality time together, and not spend time arguing back and forth about what the adult who is manipulating your child, whatever they're trying to convince your child is true about you. Don't spend a lot of time arguing about that. Always maintain empathy for your child. Maintain empathy for your child. No matter how much they act out, no matter how hateful they act towards you, maintain empathy. Especially if you're a believer. We don't fight against flesh and blood, right? And so, it's so important to understand that your child's is just being manipulated and being used as a weapon against you. And it's just so important for you to realize and understand that they're being manipulated and being used. And it really helps you to disengage, look at it from God's perspective, from a higher perspective, and it helps you to manage your own feelings about what's going on and how your child's being used and manipulated. And finally, never, ever, ever give up hope. Never give up hope on your child. There may become a time, the favored parent, the parent who's feeding, or the relative who's feeding all this information, a lot of times your kid may idolize that person. And so there may become a point in time where there's an event that breaks that view that your child has of that other person. And, that may be that thing that then opens up your child's eyes. The child starts to see, as they get older, start to understand more and start to realize, that didn't add up. What Aunt so-and-so told me, that doesn't add up. What Dad told me, that's not adding up. And so, there may be a time where your relationship gets restored with your child. Not just restored, but is better than ever. So never, ever, ever give up hope. Never, ever give up hope. And so one of the hardest things that your kids that may be hard for you to understand is why your child feels so strongly, why they feel such intense rage and anger and directed towards you. And, you may be thinking to yourself, you know what? I don't see too many people lined up to take care of you. I don't see too many people lined up to pay for your food and clothing and pay for the things you need for school and such and such. And I know it may be easy to get into the flesh when your child is raging against you and hurling accusations and barking accusations against you. But a lot of times, child develops intense negative emotions towards the other parent, but doesn't really consciously know why. And a lot of times your child is just feeding off and is absorbing the negative emotions from the favorite parent. And so a lot of times this starts even before the divorce happens, because you have a lot of discord and conflict that leads up to the divorce. And so if your child is absorbing that, and then they don't really realize why, so that way you tend to have a beginning of understanding why your child may be feeling this intense emotions, even though they can't really say, or they give superficial reasons why they don't want to spend time with you, or they believe these horrible lies about you. So I hope that you find this helpful. If you know of anyone who's going through this, share the link to this video with them and tell them about my page. And if you haven't done so already, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, hit that like button. Comment. I read every single comment. So if you have other topics that you want me to cover, I'd be very happy to hear your suggestions and your ideas. I'd love to hear them. And as always, subscribe to my page. Take care.